Police reports say David's car was found abandoned on Interstate 142. Headlights still on, engine still warm. But the road in front of him didn't continue. It just ended in dirt, as if the highway had never gone further. What happened that night still haunts drivers who passed that stretch of road, the one they now call the Vanishing Highway. It was a little after midnight when David left the city. The streets were quiet, the bars had emptied, and the glow of neon lights slowly faded into the distance as his car merged onto the interstate. David had driven this highway dozens of times before. It was the fastest way back to his small hometown 2 hours away. He knew the route so well he could almost drive it with his eyes closed. Straight lanes, wide shoulders, gas stations every 20 miles. But tonight felt different. The highway was empty. Not a single pair of headlights in either direction. The silence outside his windows was so deep that even the steady hum of the engine felt unnaturally loud. He checked the rearview mirror. Nothing. Just the long stretch of black road trailing behind him, swallowed by the night. Strange, he muttered to himself, tightening his grip on the steering wheel. David tried to calm his nerves. Maybe it was just a quiet night. Maybe everyone else had already taken the exits back to their homes. He turned the radio dial, hoping for some music, but every station dissolved into static. That's when he noticed something odd. The mile markers. He remembered clearly that he'd passed marker 142 20 minutes ago. Then came 143, 144, but now the marker at the side of the road read 142 again. He frowned. Maybe he misread it. He kept driving. A few minutes later, another marker appeared. 142. His chest tightened. His hands grew sweaty on the steering wheel. "No way," he whispered. "No way I'm looping." But the signs weren't lying. Somehow, no matter how fast he drove, he was stuck between the same mile markers, trapped in a stretch of road that repeated endlessly. David's first instinct was to pull over. He slowed down, pulling onto the shoulder, and killed the engine. The sudden silence pressed in, heavy and suffocating. He stepped out of the car. The air was thick, too still. The night sky, once scattered with stars, looked darker, like a black sheet had been pulled over it. The highway stretched into the distance in both directions, perfectly straight, perfectly empty. But there was something wrong. The edges of the road didn't fade into trees or fields like usual. Instead, they just faded into nothing. He squinted. Yes. Just past the shoulder, maybe 10 feet away, the world itself seemed to stop. As if someone had cut it with a knife. No trees, no grass, no horizon, just blackness. A shiver ran down his spine. He jumped back into the car, slamming the door. "Keep driving! Just keep driving. There's gotta be an exit." He turned the key. The engine roared to life. Tires screeched as he sped down the highway. The speedometer climbed, 60, 70, 80. The lines on the road blurred beneath him, but the signs didn't change. Mile 142, mile 142, mile 142. His breath quickened. He was trapped in some kind of loop. Then, for the first time all night, he saw headlights. Relief washed over him. Up ahead, maybe half a mile, a pair of glowing lights appeared in the distance. Another car. Finally, someone else on this God-forsaken highway. He floored the gas, chasing the lights. They stayed just ahead, always a little out of reach. He honked, flashing his brights, but the car never slowed. never pulled aside. And then it happened. The road beneath the other car disappeared. The taillights plunged downward, swallowed into the black void where the highway should have been. In an instant, the car was gone. The road in front of David's own car began crumbling away, fading like ash in the wind. His instincts screamed at him to stop. He slammed the brakes, tires screeching against the asphalt. The car fishtailed, skidding to a halt just inches from the edge, where the highway simply ended. Beyond it, nothing. No ground, no stars, no horizon, just nothing. David sat frozen, chest heaving, hands locked on the wheel. The road behind him stretched back into the distance, endless. Ahead, only the void. He forced himself to breathe. Back up, turn around, find another way. He shifted into reverse, slowly inching away from the edge. His headlights illuminated the cracked asphalt as he retreated, the void creeping closer like it was alive, swallowing the road inch by inch. Finally, he spun the wheel, pulling a desperate U-turn. He floored it, racing back the way he came. The rearview mirror showed the void chasing him, consuming the highway. Then, something appeared in the middle of the road. A man. He stood directly in the lane, illuminated by David's headlights. His clothes were ragged, his skin pale as bone. His mouth moved, whispering words David couldn't hear. David swerved, tires screaming, barely avoiding him. As he passed, he caught a glimpse of the man's eyes. Empty, black. David didn't stop, didn't dare. He just drove faster, his heart hammering in his chest. The highway roared beneath him, but every sign, every marker was the same. Mile 142. Mile 142. Mile 142. He was trapped. Minutes, hours. He couldn't tell how long he drove. The dashboard clock flickered, frozen at 2:17 a.m. Finally, in the distance, he saw something new. An exit sign, glowing faintly green in the darkness. Exit 143, Raven Hill Road. He didn't hesitate. He swerved onto the ramp, speeding toward the off-road. Relief surged through him as the tires hit fresh asphalt. The ramp curved down into darkness, but then the road ended. No warning, no sign, just nothing. The car plunged forward into the black. For a moment, silence. Then the world around him dissolved. When authorities later searched for David, they found his car abandoned on the interstate near mile 142. The doors were open. The headlights still glowed, pointing at a stretch of highway that ended in dirt, as if the road had never continued. No one ever saw David again. But truckers still talk about mile 142, about the way the signs repeat, about the way the road looks different at night, and some swear that if you drive long enough, you'll see a man standing in the middle of the highway waiting for you.